Today, we've got an awesome story about a wife who wanted an open relationship but now regrets it. Hello, all. Never once did I think I would get to this point, reaching out to strangers on the internet for guidance, but here we are. My wife and I have been together for 10 years and married for 8. We met in college and were each other's first and only love. I honestly thought we had a unique and beautiful relationship because of that, but it appears that was just me some time ago. A while back, my wife began working at a new company. At first, she found it difficult to fit in because she's always been reserved. However, after encouragement from me, she made friends with a group of girls, some single, divorced, or dating but not married at first. I was happy she made friends, but then she started going out for drinks, partying, or attending other events her friends had planned. I became concerned by her change in behavior and tried to talk to her about it while not wanting to restrict her in any way. This shift began to affect our relationship in the bedroom. My wife wasn't one to initiate intimacy, but with her continued outings, she was either too tired or not in the mood. At some point, her company got a new manager whom my wife and her friends had taken a liking to. She began mentioning him in passing, and it escalated to the point where she was pointing out how he handled certain problems that didn't seem work-related. I questioned her fascination with this man, but she brushed off my concerns. She even started asking if I regretted not having more experience with women, to which I replied no because she is all I ever needed. I thought I saw a flash of sadness in her eyes, but she quickly changed the subject, suggesting open marriages as a way to spice up our marriage. I was taken aback because my wife had never been this kind of person and wasn't that liberal sexually, to be honest. Initially, I refused and questioned if this had anything to do with the new manager. She denied it but said she felt like she missed out and didn't want to lose me, so opening the marriage was a safer option. I wondered if she was playing with fire, but reluctantly and naively agreed. We set some rules, mainly not to sleep with another person in our home. For a year, my wife went on dates and had one-night stands, while I had a few dates but no one-night stands because it frequently felt wrong to me. My wife would ask if I was fine but wouldn't change her behavior. At some point, I felt the pure love and special innocence of our marriage was gone, and it was killing me inside. Eventually, I ended up going on a date with an amazing woman who migrated from South Korea. Our conversations were effortless. She had the wit of a lightning-fast whip crack and a smile that would make one forget themselves. This led to more dates until we became intimate. I never had sex like I did with this woman. She made me feel so desirable. At first, my wife thought it was cute, but as months went by, she began questioning my relationship with my lover. I pointed out that this was her idea and mentioned her relationship with the manager. She looked concerned but stayed silent, showing signs of wanting to say something but holding her tongue. She started coming home early to surprise me with dinner, keeping the house extra clean, and visiting my workplace to drop off lunch. She began to initiate intimacy in the bedroom, but I barely gave in, feeling something inside me towards my wife was dying. I could see she felt it too. I asked what brought on this change, and she responded that she wanted to show me she loves me and is happy with me. I burst out laughing, questioning about her group of friends, the manager, and her one-night stands. She didn't respond that day and went to bed in tears. The next day, she told me she wanted to close our marriage. This whole experience was a horrible mistake she regrets and wants us to focus on our relationship again. I asked her to be honest about what inspired all this, and she revealed it was her group of friends who planted the idea due to their numerous sexual exploits. Her managers surprisingly supported that lifestyle and encouraged her to live freely. It developed into an emotional affair but only got physical once the marriage was open. She described it as being drunk behind the wheel of a speeding car, thrilling and intoxicating, but the price became too much for her to bear. She now sees that she never needed a comparison and that what we had was truly unique and special. However, she feels like she murdered our marriage and any chance of a life together. I told her I might not ever be able to see her as my wife again, which made her break down in front of me. I held her in silence as she cried until she fell asleep in my arms on the couch. Since then, she has left her job, cut off contact with all her friends and her manager, and told me she's willing to spend the rest of her life making it up to me and working hard to be seen as a wife by me. However, I haven't cut contact with my lover. My lover makes me feel like a man, like I can challenge the world, while my wife hasn't been able to do that for a while. Truth is, I don't know what to do in this situation. I would love to get the special feeling back if possible. My lover basically saved me when I was at my lowest. Please help me. I forgot to add, we have our first marriage counseling session in a couple of hours. I'm not sure how that will go. The therapist seemed nice and experienced, appearing unbiased and eager to help even though it was our very first session. During the session, my wife took the opportunity to lay it all out. She confessed that her group of friends made her wonder if she had missed her chance because she was committed to her first boyfriend and had no other experiences. She never had the same adventures some of these supposedly amazing women had, remembering some of whom were divorced but none married. The therapist pointed out that this can often be detrimental to a marriage due to the difference in mindset. My wife seemed to agree and added that after the new manager started approaching her, some friends encouraged her to explore and discover herself. She felt guilty and said she never did anything physical until one of the divorced friends suggested an open marriage as a loophole, telling her some couples come out stronger because of it. Regrettably, her adventure began. It was intoxicating and blinding but lacked real substance like the bond we built over the years. She started questioning her reasons, saw the hurt in my eyes, but told herself it was an adventure. She said she'll never forgive herself for this missed chance to have an amazing experience. The gravity of it all never really hit her until she noticed a change in me. At first, she assumed that because I went on dates, I would gradually accept her situation and be okay with it. But that changed when my lover became a constant presence in my adventure. I started to smile again for no reason. My eyes lit up when I received a text or answered a call. She felt a pit in her stomach and began experiencing panic attacks for no reason. She went to her friends for advice again, but they said it was a normal reaction during the adventure. However, when the same divorced friend who suggested this saw that my lover made me happy, the reality finally dawned on her. The possibility that another woman, not his wife, gave him joy almost made her pass out. She realized how ridiculous this was and begged her friends to help her win me back, but they told her if she couldn't deal with it, why did she open the marriage in the first place? She recognized these people were toxic and a threat to our marriage and the life we've built. Hence, she's been on a mission to win me back by any means necessary. I didn't share much, but let the counselor know about my side with my lover still in the picture. The counselor said no resolution could ever be reached with my lover still involved and suggested we book another appointment after tomorrow. The counselor mentioned it was unusual for someone to stay with her first love this long and gave the impression that any storm can be weathered. I highly suspect she wants us to be one of her success stories. Update 2. Still haven't figured out how to link posts, but a very warm thank you to everyone who has reached out. I apologize for not being able to reply to each and every one of you, whether through inbox or on the post. Anyway, here's the update so far. Thank you for all your support. It's been quite literally an episode of Jerry Springer. I have since moved into an apartment owned by my brother for a ridiculously cheap price. He owns properties and would have let me stay for free, but I refused. During our second counseling session, I uncovered unsettling things about my wife's behavior and her manager. I asked her if she was sure nothing physical happened before opening the marriage. She looked down and begged me not to make her say it. After some pushing, she shared that it wasn't physical, but they touched themselves in front of each other. Her manager convinced her that since it wasn't physical, it wasn't technically cheating and that they were simply enjoying each other's beauty. I was floored as she started shaking and hyperventilating, crying and apologizing to me. Even the counselor was taken aback, showing disbelief. My wife got on her knees, hugged my legs, and expressed how sorry she was. When I asked what really changed her view of him, she revealed that after she started pulling back from the group, his behavior towards her changed. One evening, she overheard him speaking about her to a male colleague, calling her a pleasant distraction and admitting he had no intention of breaking up with his fiancée. He mentioned that she was living proof that you can't trust the quiet ones. Upon realizing he saw her as nothing more than a piece of meat, she became suicidal. She left her workplace, vomited in the parking lot, and her first thoughts were, "What have I done?" She begged for forgiveness. I then asked if she loved him and when she stopped loving me. Through tears, she said she never stopped loving me, which made it worse. He was just something different. She thought it was love, but now realizes how foolish she was. She squeezed my arm, acknowledged her mistake, and expressed that she misses us and our connection. She suggested we move away and start fresh, just the two of us. I told her it wouldn't be fair to my lover and that I need time away to process everything. She had a meltdown, sobbing and holding on to me as if I was going to disappear. The counselor convinced her that maybe time apart could help us heal. As we got home, I began to pack when my wife received a video call from one of her former friends in tears. After my wife resigned, this friend and the manager began a fling of their own. She had a pregnancy scare, which caused him to change his behavior drastically. She also had a boyfriend she could see a future with, and the only reason for the fling was curiosity. Her boyfriend found out through an email discussing the potential pregnancy, and the manager accused her of baby trapping, leading him to leave her. The friend contacted me, seeking advice under the impression that my wife managed to save our marriage. I turned and left, staying in the apartment ever since. Update 3. My wife's insane behavior has changed us. Thank you to everyone who reached out with advice, similar stories, or just offered an ear. It means a lot. A lot has happened since. The former friend who had the pregnancy scare was indeed pregnant, but the stress of losing her boyfriend and being humiliated by the affair caused her to lose the baby. She turned ballistic, exposing the manager to upper management and his fiancée. I found his fiancée on Facebook, a special needs teacher, homebody, and very family-oriented. My first thought was, what the hell is he doing messing around with other women when he's got her at home? Why men like him end up with women like her remains a mystery. The former friend contacted me, wanting my version of events to collect evidence against the manager. She wanted to do it in person. When we met, I saw she was broken, dark circles under her eyes and red-colored irises showed she hadn't slept and was haunted by her thoughts. She apologized for her role in my wife's adventure. It turns out she and my wife spoke again after I moved out, and she learned about my departure. She didn't shift blame and wanted to take responsibility, which is why she wanted to meet in person. I thanked her but asked why she went this far. She said losing both a child and the love of her life changed her fundamentally. She can hardly look in the mirror without feeling disgust and can hardly sleep because she sees her ex's face every time she closes her eyes. The meeting might have been a form of punishment for her. She shared that she fractured relationships among coworkers as a breach of conduct and, since the manager was in a position of influence, he would likely be fired and blacklisted. The same might happen to her. She accepted it, left after getting my side of the story, and apologized again. I needed to get a few things from the old place, so I went back, thinking my wife wouldn't be home. Unfortunately, she was there. She had most of our wedding photos out on the coffee table and was staring at them. When she noticed me, I saw she was crying. She tried to hug me, but I gently pushed her aside. She offered me lunch, but I told her I wasn't hungry and wouldn't be long. She wanted to show me a message she received from her former manager, who had berated her from a new number after she blocked his old one. My wife helped her former friend expose him to all relevant parties, and he was furious. She got the idea from Chump Lady and Marriage Builders, believing that exposing his secrets was moving his power and giving us a fighting chance. I told her I was glad she had the courage to do that, but it doesn't change anything between us. I informed her that I would be stopping marriage counseling and doing individual counseling instead. She sobbed softly, saying she understood. I feel numb towards her. This isn't normal, hence why I want to address it in individual counseling. I have also seen a divorce lawyer at my brother's recommendation, just to be safe. As of now, I'm not willing to fight for this marriage, and it seems my wife sensed it before I left. She tried to initiate intimacy, but when I refused, she yelled, asking what my lover does for me that she can't, what he loves about her that she doesn't, with her voice so loud I'm sure the neighbors heard. She said whatever it was I wanted, she would do it. I shook my head, telling her if she still couldn't understand after all that's happened, it's clear where our marriage is headed. I left to hang up. My wife has really started to see the consequences of her actions. The sad truth is that she would do anything to go back and not make the same bad choices, but things don't work that way. Maybe she can put some effort into figuring herself out and becoming a better partner, but it probably won't be with me because she already burned this life down. One thing you can be sure of is that she will always remember you and regret what she did. That's more than what many of us got from our wayward spouses. Good luck to you.